This is Coffee Hound Retro Shark, and welcome back to Nostalgic Nibbles. We take a light bite of a retro game, not a big bite, just a wee nibble for 30 or so minutes. A Sharky showcase, if you will. On today's menu, we have something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is a MicroProse flight sim. The first one I've featured on the channel. I've been planning on doing a little mini series of them, focusing on dear old MicroProse's flight sims, some of them at least, the ones that were my favourite. And the subject of today's nibbles is exactly one of those, an absolute favourite, one game that once it clicked with me, I was just, I think I probably played nothing but for weeks on end afterwards. I was just so captivated with it, and that is F-117A. 2.0 stealth fighter, Nighthawk I think it's also called. I remember this came in, I got the budget release of this. I didn't get on release when it first released, though I did pick up F-19 stealth fighter, the much older one, or several years older one, a few years later on one of the acid software releases at the tail end of the Amiga's commercial life. But yes, I remember there was a budget version of MicroProse games, came in white boxes, and this was one of them, one of the ones I had. F-117, not Strike Eagle, Stealth Fighter. I had F-15 Strike Eagle 2 as well, and Gunship and Knights of the Sky, and what else did I have? Dogfight, B-17 Flying Fortress. Ooh, it's a silence service too. Wistfulness. But yes, this was one that I was rubbish at first. I was terrible at it until it clicked exactly what I needed to do and how this form of stealth warfare goes on. And yeah, once it clicked with me, I knew what to do. So I had the same situation with M1 Tank Platoon as well. Once I'd sussed out the tactics of what you needed to do, that was another one that was just like amazing as well. But yes, back to F-117A. This is, yeah, I had a brief little go just to refamiliarise myself with the controls and commands, because there are quite a few. It's one brilliant thing that MicroProse did, that they struck a really fine balance between accessibility and simulation authenticity. It's not like some of the games, like say like later on the Flight Simulator, where every function is detailed down to the key, and there's hundreds of controls. There's a decent amount of flight model authenticity and key commands, but not too much. So it was very accessible. That was MicroProse's genius with their flying sims, to make them both satisfying for military enthusiasts and accessible for people to just come and play without dumbing down and being too arcadey. So let us going to COs apparently. Yes I do, sorry sir. One of MicroProse's like mission hubs, I remember Gunship 2000 had one as well, which is pretty cool. That will be featured as well in this series. But what we'll do is oh dear, there's a lot of retired and killed in action people here. An active one will replace you though. Backspace space. We have Second Lieutenant Jacksana, Sharka, Valkyria. So now what we get to pick is tailor our experience. Opponent quality: green, regular, veteran, elite. Elite. Oh no, that's sends a shiver down my spine. I remember trying elite. Never again. I think I used to stick with veteran. I think. But for now, we'll have a regular. I'm going to cheat a little bit and have easy landings because it's been a long time. And one thing that was cool as well is, as I mentioned, there was several years before this release, there was an earlier stealth fighter sim called F-19 back when the F-117A was still a skunk works and wasn't publicly known, but was suspected. MicroProse produced their own interpretation of the stealth fighter would look like. I think if something very similar featured in, was it Firefox, the movie Firefox? I think it's talking about the stealth fighter concepts and what people thought the stealth fighter would be. Stealth bomber as well, I think it was called as. MicroProse, because it wasn't, they wanted to produce a stealth fighter sim based on what they knew. But they didn't have the technical details because it was still under wraps until I think it was like the Gulf War, where it's the stealth fighters were first seen by the public at large. But they produced their own design spec of the stealth fighter, what became publicly known as the F-117A, and that's what you can either choose the actual historical Lockheed version or MicroProse's 117A, which is like it looked like something out of the future, like it had like curves, and it wasn't like a flying triangle wedge what we see now. But we'll choose the Lockheed and we'll say fun complete. So we've now enrolled. Fun complete, so we'll pick there. And what we'll do is briefing, maintenance, strike, training. No, don't go for strike training, please. Do I go for strike training? I guess I might. Hello, CO. Let's see if we can change it. Here we are. Now, this was another brilliant detail they included. I think it was in the earlier one as well. You can have tension. There's an amazing amount of theatres operation here. From There's a Storm was included. Middle East, some what now would now be called alternate history. Central Europe, North Cape. 1985, 1997, looking ahead from the future, from when this game was first released, 1991. So there's both historical, like near future, present, contemporary, near future, and recent past as well. Once you pick we're going to go for Central Europe in 1986, so the height of the Cold War, when tensions were high again. What you can also pick is your tension level. So you can pick Cold War. So basically, hardline diplomacy, international terrorism have increased world tension. However, military forces remain on peacetime alert. So basically, this also factors in what kind of missions you'll run. If you're flying Cold War, it is mostly reconnaissance and covert operations. If you're flying limited war, so like Yeah, so like there's the diplomatic situation has deteriorated to the point where nations are using limited military action in the region, opposing military forces known alerts. So there's a, if you like, skirmishes. In this situation, the Warsaw Pact hasn't come steamrolling through Berlin and across the Fulda Gap, was it? I think. Yeah, pick that one there. So there's in the case of Central Europe, there might be skirmishes and tensions going on, but it hasn't yet gone to full-blown war. If you pick conventional war, full-scale conventional non-nuclear war has begun in this region. Enemy military forces are ready for battle, already in action. So that was basically what the worst has happened in this case. World War III has been declared, and the Russian waves of Russian tanks are crashing through the NATO lines. Under such a situation, it would not remain non-nuclear for very long. What we'll do is, though, we're not going to go for that. I always enjoyed the Cold War because it's very tense and atmospheric. You are not. If you're fighting limited or conventional war, if you're detected, it's not a big deal. If you're fighting the Cold War, and even in a Cold War situation, you've got to avoid detection at all costs. So we'll pick that. Central Europe, Cold War. Thank you for approving our transfer, Colonel. So we'll go for a briefing. The way it works with, if you're not familiar with MicroProse flight sims of this era, there is no overarching story or plot threads to go through. Basically, you fly mission after mission, randomly generated missions after mission, and gain war medals and award ranks, and try and survive. Try and claw your way to the top of the ranks without being killed. It's not like Ace Combat or anything like that. And this style of mission was like my baseline for flight sims for a long time. I didn't really go into the dynamics ones or anything like that. Like MicroProse, pretty much for most of my flight sims, well, I was heavily into flight sims. Have been MicroProse were MicroProse ones. I did enjoy who made Migali, and those ones, like the successors to MicroProse's throne once MicroProse sadly disappeared. And I remember playing the Nova Logic ones a lot eventually as well. But right, I kind of talked over the briefings we were given. So as our air base, we are at Alhorn. So our primary mission is. Can we see the mission brief again? Thank you. A Soviet AN-72, that's an Antov, carrying a nuclear device, should have been intercepted 3 hours ago, but wasn't. You must rectify the situation by destroying the cargo while it is being unloaded. Destroy the airplane at Milk-Wald before 20-50 hours while the cargo is still being unloaded. This is very different to the first mission. On my trial run I had to go. It was a photography mission, but this one is actually like a surgical strike, a covert surgical strike. We're also giving We're also given a secondary mission as well, which you can complete for bonus score. Intelligence sources report that enemy naval actions are deploying for a sudden attack against our forces. To verify the accuracy of these reports, Washington requires a recon overflight immediately. Photograph the patrol boat. So yeah, August 14th, 1986. There was generally like a date progression. And sometimes I remember in Nicer Sky, you got little bits of news and little scenario, and little scenes, and almost like cut scenes, and there was a sense of World War I progressing and things would happen. I can't remember if there's anything like this in this one. I don't think so. So we are flight plan. Depart from Alhorn at 20:05 hours. Your onboard INS system is preset to the takeoff, primary and secondary targets and landing positions. You may adjust the waypoints at aboard in the plane. Land at Lek. Rules of engagement. This is very important. This mission is clandestine. Avoid detection, especially visual identification by military aircraft. You may fire upon targets authorized for elimination. Enemies who attack you, or enemy military aircraft or installation that detect you. Not anyone else. We are not supposed to start dropping bombs on targets of opportunity and that. That would totally happen in the limited conventional war. We could do that as much as we want. So we can, as you can see, our armaments, suggested armaments, are 2 cluster bombs and 1 camera. That's it. And there's fuel as well. You can hear just how much fuel I do for lighting the plane. So we can see this is quite a short one. So there's our primary, which is the that one there. So there's one squadron of MiG-29s. Fulcrum's based there. We'll go there, so you can actually adjust how much fuel you'll take to make you less less heavy. So yeah, fuel tank there, so you can actually put extra fuel on if you wanted to. We've got 10,000 pounds of fuel. We need 6,144 pounds, so we've got a reserve there. I don't expect we'll use our weapons here unless something goes terribly wrong. Yes, we are ready for our mission. This might be a slightly longer than normal episode because, yeah, we're 15 minutes in and we've only just got to climb into our plane. I'm using a flight stick. I'm using my Hotus X for authenticity. If I'd had anything like this on the Amiga, I'd have given my left kidney for it. I always wanted the sticks with flight sticks with throttles and whatnot and rudder pedals. I never had it. I played these with a quick shot joystick or a cheater or something like that. And that's just cheap and nasty. Well, cheap and decent, or cheap and nasty, depending. So we are. It's a night mission. An A10 has just landed. So, we're going to the gauges. We can see it's quite comprehensive there. And I love how moody this already feels. I used to just like so atmospheric flying over at night in this game. And what we'll do is because times you see we're also on the clock as well, so we need to get to destroy the enemy plane at Mittenwald before 2050 hours. So we'll thrust there. Let me just bring up the keyboard commands. Whoops! Oh no! That's my fault for taking my eyes off the clock. Oh no! That's not good. I think because we got easy crashes, we didn't die, even though we said. Oh, thank you for telling us that we remained at our present rank. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? That'll teach me to go looking at PDFs and flight things, but as we're taking off. Oh dear. Excuse me, that's not very undead friendly. Right, let's shortcut. Okay, well. Oh, checksum. Oh. Right, let's back to Central Europe we go, straight mission. And let's we'll probably have a completely different mission this time. Right, apart from Rhine Mine. Photograph the SA missile Tabor. And photograph the airplane at there. And then land at Neuburg. So yeah, it's okay, so we'll photograph the SA missile, yeah. Pretty much what we've already been told. So yeah, same rule of engagement. Let's quickly select the missiles again. Right, yep, this time we got camera, we also got a harm, we got it's a longer journey, so we've still got plenty of fuel. Let's go to the hangar. Yes, I am. Whoops. Let's just start again. And not, yes. Let's not do that again. Thank you. So it's a thrust up to 100. So we get basically little radio messages from right, whoops. There's Algia. There we go. So what we need to do is change our nav type to navigation there. And we'll go to maps and tactical. Mission orders. Maps tactical. There we are, so we can have a close-up view of anything that's within our radar range. Most tactical display weapons, flare, forward-looking infrared radar, ILS, display mission. There we go. Let me just quickly guess we're at safe altitude. Select waypoint F7. So we've got our waypoint there, so we need to get to our first waypoint before 10:30. 10:30, 6:30. What's handy as well was we'll put while I'm talking, we'll put as flaps, as bay. Where's autopilot again? Seven. There we go. Now I can safely talk about some of what we're seeing here. Again, it's a night flight again. Again, it feels super atmospheric. But we can see, I'll explain the first thing. If you look down at the bottom of the panel, you'll see a red bar, EMV. That's basically our, if you like, our noise, how noisy we'll be, how detectable we are. You'll see on the left of that blue bar, you'll see little red lines spiking. That's well, you won't see them right now, but as we go over enemy territory, we'll see that spiking, and that's the range, if you like, how much noise they detect. The lower we are, and the lower we are, the less detectable that we are. I forget what the actual it means. EMV. So we need to keep low as we near any radar stations or enemy patrols. What we can do, because it would take a while, there's a accelerate time feature. So we have 18 chaff, 2 flares, 3 decoys. Have we not used those? Our fuel is there, it's going down, ticking down. So our first waypoint is, if like our first point, we'll probably turn in a different direction from there. And waypoint 2 will be our primary target, waypoint 3 will be our secondary target. Waypoint 4 is the airbase we'll return to. So yeah, this still looks good. It doesn't look as good as the DOS version. I've seen the DOS version. I think I own it on GOG. I haven't really played it yet. It does look better, but the Amiga version is where my nostalgia is rooted. You're taking this. I'm going to just take us off. I'm a bit nervous about those hills or those mountings that the autopilot was taking us past. We'll probably be fine. There we are. We never want to be this high. If we can avoid it when we're near Soviet territory. I guess we're passing into what was East Germany. So to see, we can get reports of planes taking off, like ground control, mission control is feeding us information reports from spy eyes in the sky, and any intelligence reports they're all useful for our mission and threats to avoid. As we can see, I think EGR spiked then. I think we should head much slower. Whoa, it's not the most responsive. Yep, we're recording still. Good. So we've passed. Oh yeah. So there's art. We just we're getting quite close. Yeah. What I want to do is switch to R to ground. There's our target. Look. So what we need to do now is, if I just Alt P. We need to open our bay doors now, which is 8. We need to get a good solid picture of this. I'm I'm not even sure if I was actually... Was I targeting the right one? Let's throw our thrust down. That's a windmill. Please, are we taking photos of windmills? Yes. Please. Try again. Oh. As you saw, our EMV was much higher with the bays opened, so you need to keep them closed as long as possible. Because this is got everything on like regular troops and it's peacetime, their detection radius is much lower. Their level of alertness is much lower than it would be on conventional or limited or conventional. We would not be able to just sweep around like we saw there. So let me put it back on to F7. Try and make it go over our secondary mission. Passing over city right now. You kind of use the imagination that these sparse buildings are the grey areas. So we're passing over a city, but when your imagination fills in the gaps. I mean, even now, I still feel like it still feels tense and atmospheric, and so yeah, our waypoint 3 is some distance away. Let me have, there are some right, shift F1. We've got time, so have a look at the cool 3D. Those lovely dithered polygons. Oh yes, inverse tactical view. We can this basically shows you your relation to your target. It now shows you your target to the relation to you. Action view. It's simple graphics, but it does its job in conveying. So here we are. Actually, we are coming up on the target. What was this one again? Photograph enemy airplane at Conmano. So we need to switch these to ground. There you can see that. There we are. And we saw the radar pulsing because it's an air base. As you can see, as we turn, the more you want to keep on, you want to come in on these targets straight and as low and slow as you can, because if you see like there's the EGR is very high here. If we are not careful, we'll be detected. This is where it gets nervous and tense. We need to open the bay at the last possible moment. Right. There we are, we've done it. So now we need to turn to our waypoint. Change the navigation. Autopilot handle this. As you can see, as we turn, our EMV is spiking again. And in wartime scenarios, that calls for some extremely precise flying and careful manoeuvring. So we've lined up again. We've got a 350 kilometre journey back now. We'll speed up time now. So yeah, that's quite tense stuff. Your imagination fills in the gaps that the simpler textures. I mean, it's simpler textures here, but it does its job, especially on a 7 megahertz Amiga. I would have played this on the 1200. We got a 1200 by then, which helps because there's different detail levels, and this should be detail level 3. That would chug on a stock A500. So yeah, the red dot was a overpassing planes there. So we're returning home. Our mission complete. Yeah, I used to play. I remember playing this at night as well in the evenings, like I am now. Yeah, it was super atmospheric. It's a good time to talk about a surprisingly good stealth fighter, stealth bomber game on the Mega Drive / Genesis called F-117 Nighthawk? No. What's it called now? 1 second, let me find out. I should know, I made a Nostalgic Nibbles on it. Well, 2 minutes play on it a while ago. Mega Drive stealth bomber game. F-117 Nightstorm, that's it. It's one of EA's port. Quite lovely, considering the hardware. It's flight sim games. There was a port of LHX. There's one called F20. There was an F22 game, F22 Inceptor. But there's also one called F-117A Storm, which did a surprisingly good job of conveying these kind of missions on the Genesis Mega Drive. It did a really, really good job of striking a balance between what you could actually do on in terms of simulation on the Mega Drive and on the 3-button pad. It's a simpler flight mod, of course, but it does a really good job of conveying avoiding detection. You see radar sweeps. You can see them physically in the sky, where this is replicated authentically via radar. Your own detection means. But yeah, if you enjoy playing Genesis games, Mega Drive games, and give F-117A Storm a go. Same with the LHX ports. EA did some amazing ports to the Mega Drive. The port of Starflight, it's almost like a reimagining of Starflight. That's my favourite version of the classic space exploration game, is the Genesis version. How close are we now? Oh, I haven't got time acceleration on there. We just spent 21 minutes flying there, listening to me ramble on about other games. Just passing over the city again. Going there. I have enough fuel. We should do. There was an ample oversupply. A bit of wiggle room in case we had to make adjustments. As you can see as well, the autopilot is taking us only on 70% thrust, as that's, if you like, cruising speed, safe cruising speed, to aid non-detection. I better bring up the key commands for the... because there is a landing, ILS landing as well. Yeah, we got fuel and got enough time as well. ETA 30 hours. Look at the inside external views again. Okay, now almost there now. Yes. I was looking at other controls, and there's a boss hide key as well, which is quite amazing if you're not aware what those were, because it's kind of like a holdover, mainly aimed at PC players, since Amigas here weren't really common in the office. Whoop, let's take off so we can finish the story. But yes, boss hide key. There was something I always see in MicroProse game manuals, because it was kind of assumed that you wouldn't be able to afford a PC that could play these games at home. Chances you weren't. So it would assume that you'd be playing at work. Basically, you were sneaking on the office PCs, and then give you a boss height key. Like it was like it'd be like Alt B, and it would basically just you press boss height key command, and it would throw up like a faux command prompt or something that looked official and business. So if you were playing F-117 in the office when you shouldn't have been, and the boss walked in, MicroProse would assume that the boss had no idea about PCs, computers, and you'd press Alt B and it would throw up something that looked official, like a fake DOS prompt or a fake spreadsheet or something, and the designers assume that that would be enough to fool the boss that you actually do work rather than flying planes in office time. It's quite cute, but it's a relic of the past now, since you can just everything's like multitasking in Windows. You can just minimize or just hide the window or something like that. Not that I ever did that. No. Oh, it's not that low, computer. That is a bit low. We're okay though. Almost there. Whoa. I wonder if the autopilot's taking us onto land. I'm okay with that, I think, even with if it is. If not, we'll just fly over and yes, it's not going to land for us. Now we're on the fuel clock. Okay, so this is where the tactical view comes in, since we can just gotta be a little bit careful. Let's line up with the whoa. So we'll put our gear down. We'll switch to ILS. Unfortunately, there are no rudder controls. Like, oh no! Please no! Oh no! Oh no! We crashed. Oh dear! I was trying to see if we can sneak in a sneaky landing. Your plane crashed spectacularly into the ground. Jack said when the Jigsaw Shark of Valkyrie was killed in action after completing his mission. The performance rating for this mission was 616. That's a shame. We are debriefing next event, so we can remember mine. That would have been quite a successful mission. Boom. There we go. Oh, posthumously awarded Silver Star for heroism. So there, yeah, there's our ultimately unsuccessful flight. Oh, that's me trying to rush the landing, not being careful enough. Yes, I see. But yes, that was fun. Though I really enjoyed it. It's been a long time since I last did a full mission like this on this game. It's brought a lot back, and I hope you enjoyed watching me play it and talk about a few other things as well. And yeah, thank you for joining me for it. MicroProse games have a very special place in my heart, and it's lovely to be able to share these with you all now. So until the next one, it may be another flight sim, but turning the clock back quite some decades. So thank you for joining me until the next Nostalgic Nibbles. This has been Coffee Hound Retro Sharker, and from Beyond the Grave, signing off.